हेलो एवरीवन, सेंस ऑल द टाइम से मैं हूं कोमल। सेंस ऑल द टाइम देखने वाले सभी दर्शकों को मेरी तरफ से प्यार भरी नमस्कार। और आज हम पहुंच चुके हैं शहर जलंधर के डेज होटल में। यहाँ पर सेंट ऑल ग्रुप ऑफ इंस्टीट्यूशन की तरफ से बहुत बड़ा इनिशिएटिव लिया गया है। टीचर ट्रेनिंग वर्कशॉप लगाई गई है जिसमें सभी ब्रांचेस के टीचर पहुंचेंगे। तो चलिए हम भी देखते हैं।
It has everything for you. It has lesson plans, it has activities, it has everything. We have 3 years preparatory, that is class 3, 4 and 5. Then we have a next 3 years class 6, 7, 8 as middle class. Okay. Then we have 4 years secondary stage. For preparatory, middle and secondary stage, we have another NCF. Okay, I show you this picture. I will show to you when the slide comes. So that is for NCF SE, school education. You should download it. It has 600 pages. Okay? You should all go through it. If you want to be an accomplished teacher, if you want to remain in teaching for the next 10 years, if you want to continue to be teachers, and if you want to be successful teachers, then these 2 books are your Bibles. They are as good as your religious books. Okay. For coordinators too, please download and get these copies printed. Ma'am, please, for every school, have these 2 copies circulated and keep them placed in their libraries. Okay. This is very important. If you don't have it right now, you please have it today. Download it, go through it. And for the secondary education, for the school education, I'll go back to it. Yes. How to read it? The first part of this NCF tells you how to read it. Coordinators, please ask your subject teachers, ask all the subject teachers to go through the subject portion. Okay, it has all the relevant portions: language, mathematics, science, social sciences, arts, and all subjects. The NCF has everything, and please read your subject only. Then you will know that what the changes are inculcated. Now there are some other changes which have been made in NEP. One is called structural change. So now on, Department of Education will be all powerful. This has been made all powerful. Department of Education will look after the schools, rules, everything, not the boards. Even affiliation will come through this Department of Education, DOE. Then another thing is very important. You might be having your lesson plan. आपके पास होगी कोई ना कोई lesson plan आपके पास जरूर होगी. Okay. In lesson plan, we have made some other changes. Earlier we used to have learning outcomes. You remember? Learning outcomes. सुना किसी ने? For deciding curriculum, we used to have learning outcomes. Learning outcomes for elementary school, learning outcomes for primary schools, learning outcomes for preschool, learning outcomes for secondary, learning outcomes for class 11th and 12th. learning outcome. In every subject there was learning outcome. Learning outcome means this is what we want, that if you have a science, physics, chapter 1, this is what our students should know. This is how they should understand. Learning outcome. But under this new regime, we have made changes. Now we have a domain name. I'll show you the slide. That will be better. Have you heard of 21st century skills? Have you heard of 21st century skills? These are the some issues which have been mentioned in NCF as well as in NEP time and again. बार-बार इनका reference दिया गया. 21st century skills. What are the 21st century skills? This is the type 21st century skills on Google. Okay, and then you will come across the details. 21st century skills are learning skills, literacy skills, and life skills. They are divided into three categories. Okay, and learning skills are critical thinking skills, creativity, collaboration, and communication. 4 skills that were they are the learning skills. Can you tell me what is critical thinking skill? What is critical thinking skill? How your children should develop critical thinking skill?
Think out of the box.
Think out of the box. Okay? Okay, anybody else? Then I will tell you the easiest method to know what is a critical thinking skill.
Give them a task and tell them to sort them in their own way.
Sort them in their own way.
How they have understood the task, what can be the solution according to them.
Okay.
Based on experience of brainstorming.
कभी आपने अपनी मदर्स, ग्रैंड मदर्स को दाल चुनते देखा? दाल चुनते देखा? So what she is doing?
Picking out the things from the hand.
She picks up what is not dal and throws it out. यही होता है. She picks up stones from the dal. She applies the critical thinking skill. This is critical thinking skill. Critical thinking skills means to separate something from something. Critical thinking skill means apply your thinking skills against some value that you give to the children. This is called critical thinking skill. And you ask them what is and what is not. What is not. This is called critical thinking skill. Critical thinking skill can be inculcated among the children if you give them the task that okay, ये fruits पड़े हैं, इनमें से round fruit बाहर निकालो. Look for the round fruits. You ask them to look for the square things. You ask them to look for the words which begin with the word P. They think, they mind. They look at the things. This does not begin with a P. This does not. Then they decide what word suits. This is called thinking skill. Critical thinking skill. Critical thinking skill is applied by the doctor. When you go to the doctor asks you the symptoms. Do you have cough? You say no. He cancels it. You have fever? You say yes, I have fever. Then he makes a tick. Tick, cross, tick, cross. That is called critical thinking skill. Is it difficult? Is it difficult? Can you teach them in the class? You can plan the activity. Very simple things. Children will joy. They will joy working on their own. Okay, you just pass the instructions. Okay, children, today we will be doing this thing. You ask them open the book on any page. Okay, on any page count the number of words which are on the page. They are counting the words on their own. You ask them, okay, you count the words that begin with the word N. They will do. Children have that capacity to work. You know, Osho says when a child goes to school, he is intelligent. When he comes out of it, he becomes unintelligent. All our education system is bent upon making him unintelligent. So, this new education policy looks after the interests of children. You should allow the children to work. Never ever term the children. Never ever fix any label on the children. Change your behavior as a teacher. Never ever say that you are alike. Never ever say you are not intelligent. If you do, I bet the child will fail you. वो आपका टैग गलत साबित कर देगा. Because no child is unintelligent, no child is nalayak when he is born. Every child has some quality, and it is the it is the teacher who has to recognize the quality of the child. Every child is a unique gift from the nature. Every child is a unique combination of their parents' genes, biological language. Am I right? Anybody from biology? Anybody teaching biology? Am I right? That every child is a combination of, unique combination of. No two children are equal. No twins are equal. They are distinct, they are different. If you have 30 children in the class, you have 30 best specimens of nature. If you want to teach the same thing to 30 children, then that is not the right method. That is not the right pedagogy. They want to learn on their own. NCF Foundation says that children learn on their own. Curiosity is their engine. They are all curious to know. They want to explore. And you should allow them to explore. दो इसके डिसीजन हैं, आप ले लें अभी. आपके बच्चे कल को लेबर बनेंगे या वो दुनिया को चलाने वाले बनेंगे, ये डिसाइड कर लेंगे. If you are giving them the knowledge-based model, they will become laborers. If you shift the emphasis on skills, they will become the decision makers. So this is critical thinking skill. Critical thinking skills is required when we want to identify the problem. Madam ने बोला कि problem identification. Problem identification. To identify the problem. What is responsible behind the problem? This is not there, this is not there, this is not there. This could be there. So that is why this NCF says that change your pedagogy, the methodology. You need to change. If you don't change it, you will not yield the ideal outcome. which is expected by the parents, which want that their children should be employed after their education. They are not employable because they lack those skills, and we have to inculcate those skills in the classroom. Then comes the creativity. What is the meaning of creativity? Yeah.
The ability to make new things or produce new things for skill.
Okay. How can you do it in the class? How can you do it in the class? What you should do in the pedagogy to inculcate creativity?
Give some project or assignments to explore related to the subject.
Projects. आपने project देते हैं जब. Do you give projects to the children? Do you give the projects? Projects are ideally teamwork. Projects are not single person, single students
It's a
work.
teamwork management.
Ideally, they should be given to a group of students. 6 or 7 or 8 students. 10 students. Collaboration, communication, social skills, productivity, initiative, leadership, and flexibility. You should see how students cooperate with one another, how they work as a team, what are the leadership qualities, how they follow, how they agree, how they disagree, what kind of social skills they develop. And this can only be done through anecdotal records. You know anecdotal record? Did you write any diary at home? On your own, not from the school side. On your own. You write on your own the shares that you want to pass on the WhatsApp. But you write your experiences. You write your problems. Give at least 5 or 10 minutes. It's diary writing. The art has, is no more. It is not many from the diary. So diary is the only record. That is important. Okay. So, Bloom's taxonomy. Do you remember Bloom's taxonomy? In B.Ed you might have learned about Bloom's taxonomy. Anybody has an idea of Bloom's taxonomy? No idea? Foundation stone, no foundation stone. Today the knowledge is available on the internet. If you ask them to memorize the facts, okay, they learned new skills, they used new methods, they recorded their lectures on the, cameras, on the mobile, and they transmitted it, and they conducted the Zoom sessions without any training. Without any previous training, you were able to conduct Zoom sessions. There was no software provided to you from neither CBSE nor NCERT nor from any site. You managed on your own. Okay, and I congratulate you. This was the thing that you learned. After COVID, your behavior was changed, isn't it? Because you learned new things. Did your students also learn new things? Did they learn new things? Students, क्या उन्होंने सीखा? नया कुछ सीखा?
They learned how to operate mobiles.
They learned how to use mobile, okay? They learned how to use cameras, okay?
PDFs.
They learned how to speak on camera, on mobile, okay? And they learn how to read the small letters on the mobile screen. Have you evaluated them for this thing? Have you assessed them for this thing or not? as a teacher, have you assessed, have you evaluated them for this thing?
No.
उन्होंने सीखा ना कुछ, लेकिन आपने तो उनको इस काम के लिए कोई मार्क्स नहीं दिए, किसी को भी नहीं मार्क्स दिए. That why this online education system failed, it was because you marked, you evaluated, you assessed what they did not learn. Okay? But you did not learn, you did not assess what they really learned. I was conducting one principal's session, your students learned. One principal was telling me that her students learned how to make film, movie. With the help of camera, they shot a movie, small movie, and they shared it on in the classroom. Okay, ma'am, this is what we have done. Okay. At that time, there was no reel or no tic-tac. Okay. I asked the principal, okay, have you asked the teachers to assess the students for that? She said no. That is the gap. That is where the gap was. And we have to remove those gaps. We have to be a real observer of our students. And another thing, when I was telling you that the students are the best, specimens of nature, another change that you have to develop in your behavior is that you should learn to rely on your students. Don't take for granted, but rely on them. Give them the responsibility. And they will act responsibly. I tell you, they will act responsibly. They are not basically naughty. They are not basically mischievous. If you give them the task according to their ability, their capacity, capability, then they will become the best students. The only thing is that we don't rely on our students. This is the biggest thing, biggest problem with the parents too. Parents, they don't rely on their children. And they want that children should come to them for every little decision. You give them the responsibility, you give them the decision making to your children. They will learn how to make the decisions, how to execute them, and their behavior will be more responsible. So Bloom's taxonomy is very important. Download it from NCRT or from internet and study it properly. Okay? See, here is creating. Creativity, creative thinking is at the top of it. And children are very interested to develop their creativity. I have my own experience working with the children. How many students of your class are good writers, poets, story writers? Do you know? Do you know any story writer, any poet in your class? Yes? Is there any? Have you ever given them the opportunity to present the poem?
Yes. In the presentation.
In the presentation?
Yes.
Poem?
Yes.
English poem, Hindi poem?
English.
English poem.
Not a poem, like any article or what they have written. That is.
Okay. Now I give you one task. You can do it when your school starts. All teachers, please take this task to the classroom. Okay? It's a very interesting one. It will bring creativity among your students. We had story writing session with the children. Creative story writing with the children. Okay? I worked with one class of 10th students. 10th class of students, and there were 60 students. And we give them, we started with one line, one cue. I started with one cue. I want that our children should be very imaginative. This is the first thing. Our children should be very imaginative, they should be very creative, and for children, fairy tales like Harry Potter is a very fantastic thing. They are interested to do something like that. Okay, they are always interested. So we had 60 children. We started with the story. My instruction was that you add one sentence to the story. I will give the first clue. Another one, a student add one clue, one line, one sentence, another sentence, another sentence, another sentence. And likewise, the whole class will complete. And the objective was that we want to create one fairy tales. It should have a lot of magic. It should have a lot of, surprise, something, okay? So they created a story. They created a fairy tale, okay? Within 15 minutes, all the students, they took part and we had one story complete. It was all imaginative story, okay? My second instruction was that every sentence should add one action to the story. It should not describe the story. It should not describe the character. It should add one action. So it was like once upon a time there was a butterfly. It went to the garden. Another child he added. Then another action was added. The story was complete. In the next 15 minutes, I asked them to write the story on one piece of paper. Students asked, can we write on our own? I told them, okay, yes, you can write. 60 children gave me 60 fairy tales, which were all imaginative, which was all creative, and which were not there before the period. Short stories मुझे मिले उस क्लास में. Nobody could imagine that these children of 10th class, they are as good as fairy tales writers. So our students have the ability. Writing creative stories, imaginative stories, it will lead to what? In the times to come, they may become the inventors, discoverers, scientists. Because all the discoveries, all the inventions were started with the imagination. And creative thinking means out of box thinking. You said out of box thinking, that is creative thinking, out of box thinking. There are some problems. We come across with the problems. We face the problems. And for the problems, we need solutions. And solution comes from the imaginative mind. Okay, so then we have the evaluation, analysis, application. Till date, we think that CBSE schools, CBSE education, CBSE system of education, if CBSE or NCRT is the ideal institution, ideal authority. We think like this. सबसे बड़ी है ये सब. This is the top level, but not. इसके आगे भी बहुत सारे आसमान हैं. Why I say this thing? These institutions, they cater only the 75% of the education system. These institutions cater education system which is based on the schools of which 75% lie in the rural areas. हमारे जो एजुकेशन सिस्टम है उसमें 75% जो स्कूल्स हैं वो रूरल एरियाज में है. And NCERT, CBSE, they are doing it for the minimum. This is the NEP, NCF, this is minimum. And as private institutions, should we be content with the minimum? क्या हमें मिनिमम से कंटेंट होना चाहिए? नहीं होना चाहिए? We should not. Minimum is not our quality. वहां तक तो सारे सरकारी स्कूल जाएंगे. सारे सरकारी स्कूल वहां तक जाएंगे. All government schools, they will try to touch that level. Okay? So, as private institutions, private schools, teachers of private schools, we should at least go a few steps higher than the minimum. इसके लिए हमें काम करना पड़ेगा. That is why we need to work very hard. We have to think new. We have to think fresh. CBSE says that we have been able to touch this level only, third level. CBSE, I have an interaction with CBSE chairperson Anita Carwell, and she admitted कि हम तो सिर्फ थर्ड लेवल तक जा सके हैं. हमारा जो एजुकेशन सिस्टम है, करिकुलम है, जो बुक्स हैं हमारी, जो एग्जामिनेशन सिस्टम है, it is touching only the third level. And we are trying to go at least one step higher. हमें एक स्टेप ऊपर at least जाना चाहिए. तो next step is analysis, analyzing skills. They are trying to reach. But as private schools, we should design our curriculum. That is the responsibility on our shoulders. That is why we, as textbook authors, we think new things. That is where we want to take you to. We want that our books, our material should be of that standard that it should take our children to reach the top level. You know, the responsibility. That is why we make a lot of research. We look for the sources. Our sources, our research is altogether different from yours when you work with the education side. So that is why I say the pedagogy you have to change. You have to work on the pedagogy. You have to work on lesson plans. You have work on activities. You should have a diary in which activities are written, and you will introduce the activities. Textbooks which are coming to you from our publishers, from our side, they are just the tools. They are just the tools, not the final end. Teaching should go higher than the textbooks, and this NCF has provides for it. That is why I say that this is a more challenging, teaching is a more challenging, profession, and you have to bring innovative teaching. Remember these words, innovative teaching. You should be innovative. Every time you should go to the class, your lecture should be different. Your method should be different. The medium of instruction with the students will be the home language. Whatever is the language spoken at home, it should be their home language. And with the help of the home language, they should develop conceptual understanding. Our conceptual understanding is very poor. Do you agree or not? They know everything, but they don't know the conceptual understanding of the things. You know, conceptual understanding, concepts are formed in the mind. Concepts are formed in the mind. If something happens to you anytime, when you are walking, suppose you are walking in the road, anything happens, the first word that you will utter, it will come to you from your conceptual understanding. You are teaching English, your school are English medium, you have been teaching English, okay? Have you ever compared your English with the English which is spoken in the native countries? Have you compared it with the children in those countries? Where how do they speak? How do they react? It is only because of their conceptual understanding of that language. Conceptual understanding comes always from your home language. First 5 years. कैसे पता चलेगा? Not the marks, not the certificates, not the counting, not the Varnamala, not the letters. No. It says. It says, I tell you, it says the child is able to talk, conversation on a topic consistently. He is able to discuss one topic consistently. Means if he is in conversation with you, then he is, what is the simple task? In a class, if you ask the child to do, bring the book from the table, this is a simple task. If you ask them, okay, you pick up the book and place it on the table, and from the table bring that doll or ball and place it ball there, and then replace it with the other object, and then you bring it back. This is called complex task. It says that children develop all these learning outcomes on their own when they are left to play independently with the children in the evening. If they are left to do the free play, they develop all kind of these learnings on their own. बच्चों को अगर आप खुला छोड़ दो, अपने आप खेलने दो, तो they develop all these abilities on their own. क्या होता है? What happens? What happens when they are left to play? क्या होता है? कहाँ रुकना है, कहाँ नहीं रुकना है, कैसे किसी के साथ कॉम्प्रोमाइज करना है. They learn on their own. They learn how to decide, how to act responsibly. And our school system, they want that we should teach all these things in the classroom. Yes. This is our domain and curricular goals. First one is, I'm telling you how to handle NCF. How to handle NCF and how to understand it. See, first one is physical and motor development. इसमें पंचकोश की theory है हमारे पास. We call it पंचकोश. Okay? And panchkosha, first one is Annamaya Kosha and Pranamaya Kosha. Curricular goals are children develop habits that keep them healthy and safe. This is the curricular goal. You should design the activities where they learn how to remain healthy and safe. Children develop sharpness in sensorial perception. Sensorial means 5 senses. Sensorial perceptions. They know how to use their listening skill, how to use their speaking skill, how to use their touching, feeling the things. Okay? 5 senses. Then children develop fit and flexible body. They develop fit and flexible body. Naturally, physical activity. The second one is the socio-emotional ethical development, Manomaya Kosh. First one is that they develop emotional intelligence. Today, emotional intelligence is very important. The ability to understand and manage their own emotions and respond positively to the social norms. ये नहीं है कि किसी नई जगह पे जाकर वो घबरा जाए, रोने लगे कि मुझे समझ नहीं आता क्या करना. They should know how to manage their emotions. Then children develop a positive attitude towards productive work, service or seva. They should not say ये मैं नहीं करना, मैं नहीं करूँगा, मैं नहीं कर सकता. There is another word which you all teachers should remember, the proactive. Your class should be proactive. You should make them proactive, ready to execute any task. This will be only possible if you give them the activity to do in the class. If they are doing activities in the class, you know what is the purpose of teaching mathematics in the class? Not the arithmetic, mathematics. Logical thinking and
decision making.
Increase
their decision making skills.
Okay. A very popular anecdote is there that a student calls his teacher, "Okay, sir, you have taught me Pythagoras theorem, but in my life I have never used this Pythagoras theorem, and you have been, punishing us. We are punished for not being able to perform this Pythagoras theorem. It was not useful." Okay, what will be your answer to that student?
Sir, my answer is it will increase your. It is just like a brain activity. Math is not only. This is only how to learn how to solve a problem. How we can solve it? It will increase your brain activities. It will increase your brain's thinking skills, learning skills, and problem solving skills. You can understand your problem better than other students, as a mathematical student can understand problems better than other students.
Mathematics, teaching of mathematics or learning mathematics enables you to develop a mathematical attitude towards life, that we start thinking in logic, rational thinking. Because what happens, yes.
So how the children think and how they explore and how the things to figure out.
Rational thinking, that we give a logic. When we teach mathematics, we give a logic to the students. And students have to follow that logic throughout the solutions of the problem. That is why the mathematics is there. Mathematics is based on abstract thinking. Abstract thinking does not develop before the age of 10 years. That is why we can't teach algebra to the 10 years old student. Abstract thinking starts developing in the brain, in the mind, only in the 11th year. That is why we have this algebra in class 6, not in class 5. Do you understand? Another thing is that children recognize the world through quantities, shapes, and measures. What happens normally, I have found that our teachers skip the portion where these shapes, sizes, and measures, they are explained. They skip the pages. They are interested only in the counting. You are interested only in the counting. Where we students want to explore the world through the shapes and sizes too. Another thing is Normally what happens that we want to give our students to look through your eyes. ये हम सबसे बड़ी गलती करते हैं. हम सोचते हैं कि इस बच्चे को हमारी आंखों से देखना चाहिए. He should look through your eyes. He should look at the things as you look at the things, from your point of view. That is why you want to give them the knowledge. You want that the sky is blue because you know the sky is blue. You want to give the word blue, okay? But allow the children, enable the children to look at the things on their own. Don't force them to look through your eyes. इसलिए ज़्यादा उनसे पूछो. Ask them. They should look at the things from their own point of view. That is more important. That will make them creative. That will make them positive. That will, allow them to think, to imagine things. This is very important. The last one is language and literacy. Okay? So effective communication skills will only come if you allow them to speak in the class. If you ask them to put your finger on your mouth and sit silently, if you think that peace is the best discipline in the class, then please, I'm sorry. Silence is not the best discipline. Let them speak. Let there be some activity. If they can't learn in an environment where they are free, they are independent on their own, where else they will learn? Language is a tool, is a kind of a knife that becomes more sharpened, more sharpened when it is used. So ask them to speak. If in a language class the students are sitting silently, then I'm sorry that they are not learning anything. Now our principals, they should walk in the class, ask them to speak. That is why our books have conversation. Our publisher, we have provided in the books chapter, special portion for the conversation. That conversation is only a specimen, is a sample, and it should not be ideally followed. Rather, similar conversation should take place in the class. Role play is very important. You should give the opportunity to children to role play. एक को डॉक्टर बना दे, दूसरी को नर्स बना दे, एक को पेशेंट बना दे, then let them interact. बीमारी के साथ बात करें वो अपनी, मुझे क्या हुआ है, आपको क्या हुआ. Role play is very important. We, the textbook authors, we, the textbook publishers, we try to provide everything to you. But that is not the limit. You should go beyond that. It is your ability. And I tell you, the teachers will always be remembered by the children. बच्चे याद रखते हैं अपने टीचर्स को सारी उम्र के लिए. That is the biggest, reward for a teacher. कि वो अपने जाने के बाद भी अपने स्टूडेंट्स के माइंड में याद रहती है. That is why I ask you, your role is very important. Then children develop fluency in reading and writing in language 1, and children begin to read and write in language 2. Ideally, in foundational stage, 2 languages are important. You have to decide the 2 languages. Okay, but they should use it freely. Now, I explain you, this is children develop emotional intelligence ability to understand and manage their own emotions and respond positively to social norms. ये CG है, करिकुलर गोल है और इसका नंबर है 4. डोमेन है सोशियो इमोशनल ethical development. This is called domain. See the what is the competency? That they start recognizing self as an individual belonging to a family and community. Learning outcome है कि they demonstrate awareness of self. My toy, my shirt, my house, my parent, my friend. ये learning outcome. It means you should design a lesson where they are able to recognize their self. कोई ऐसा lesson आप ऐसी should be there where self is recognized and they refer. My toy, my animal, my pet, my dog, okay, recognizes different emotions and make deliberate efforts to regulate them, okay, and the learning outcome is describe their feelings and their causal. I am happy because I solved the puzzle, interact comfortably with other children and adults. Why I am happy? Why I am not happy? Give them the task. This is learning outcome. Okay? Then shows cooperative behavior with other children. Understands and responds positively to social norms in the classroom and school. What are the social norms of a classroom? You decide the social norms. To do this thing or not to do this thing. पूछ कर जाना है, पूछ कर आना है. This is the social norm of a class. क्यों में जाना है, क्यों में आना है, और अपनी टर्न की वेट करनी है. पूछ कर बोलना है. When you want to speak, raise your hand and then you speak. These are the classroom and then school norms too. Shows kindness and helpfulness to others. For example, animals, plants, when they are in need. Okay, this is how the new NCF works. I am giving you this one example. Okay, this is called CG, curricular goal, and these are the competences, and then these are the learning outcomes. This is how they are interrelated. For every subject, for every class, or every detail has been given. Please go through your subject, and then in your subject you will find class-wise CG1, curricular goals and competency, everything. Everything is explained. Even your timetable is explained. In this school, NCF for school, your timetable has been explained. What time you will have the language 1 period, what time you will have the language 2 period, and all, how many periods, how many hours you will give to your subjects, everything is explained. Everything is explained regarding the assessment also, how you will assess them. And rhymes and poems, ये competency है. He is able to listen to simple songs, rhymes and poems. Learning outcomes, listen to a wide variety of poems and songs too, repeats poems and songs, etc. Repeats them. It means our language books should have more poems. There should be rhymes, enough rhymes for in the class. And when we think of the rhyme and songs, we think of the rhythm also. We teach them the rhythm. They should clap their hands, stamp their feet, okay? Nod their heads, okay? Move their body in a rhythmical way when they are singing the rhymes and poems. Creates simple songs and poems on their own. They create poems and songs on their own too. सिर्फ आपकी poems, book की poems नहीं, they whatever poem they want to create on their own. This is the competency. Converse fluently and can hold meaningful conversation. अभी we have discussed a conversation कि एक topic के ऊपर वो they speak about one topic, conversation. There are two types of conversation. One is called formal conversation, one is called informal conversation. And your students should do the both, formal conversation and informal conversation. You should create actually the word teacher should be replaced with the facilitator. You are not a teacher, you are a facilitator. You facilitate an environment where students' learning skills are enabled. Where they are enabled means they get the opportunity to do something and on their own. And that is two other things need to be explained and doubts should be clear. One is called experiential learning, one is called experience-based learning. Do you think that they are the same? They are not the same. Though they sound the same, experience-based learning means every child should have his own experience while doing something. Through the activity, he should have his own experience. अब बॉल का वेट है उसको उठाया अपने हाथ में पकड़ा, he should have the experience. Experiential learning is something else, where you try something, you try the method. Again, if you are successful, that is called experiential learning. Experiential learning is related with the lateral thinking skills. So, science means physics, chemistry, rules, everything. We are teaching them the rules. We are not teaching them scientific temper. NCF says the purpose of teaching science is to develop scientific temper. Scientific temper means to look at the things in a scientific manner. Scientific temper means scientific thinking. You think in a scientific manner. What is the scientific manner? What is the scientific manner?
There must be some reason, but
Pardon? Yes.
What we are doing, there must be some logic behind it, why it happens, what we have to do. This is the scientific means there should be the scientific behavior that we can say the scientific temper.
Anybody else?
Based on experiment.
Based on experiment, yes. Based on experiment. We should teach science with the help of experiments. At the sea level. At the sea level, water will boil at 100 degrees Celsius, but as we go higher from the sea level, altitude, there will be some variation. We all say that light travels at 3 lakh kilometers per second. This is what you have been teaching. Have you ever tested it? Do you think that ideally it will give the same recording, same reading? No, it will not give the same reading. Then what is the method? What is the scientific method? What is the scientific method to know that it travels at 3 lakh kilometers? You make 3 readings or 5 readings. Ideally, 3 or 5. That is the prime number, okay? Then you will take 5 readings, then you get the average. Okay? Then you say that it travels at this speed. So this is only possible that if you teach science with experiments. And for experiments you have to reopen your science labs. Open the science labs. Unfortunately, this is not happening. This is not happening in our schools. This is not happening in our, colleges, even in the higher institutes. I have worked with one school, big school, where the result of the science students was excellent, but the science labs were closed. There were locks on the science labs. Then how do you think that students develop scientific temper? Scientific temper is very important. If you teach them the scientific temper, they will not believe anything. They will not believe in what you say. They will try to test it themselves. They will want to do the same thing themselves. That is why we say that your lessons should be activity-based. That is why we say that your teaching should be experience-based. That is why we say that you give enough time to your students. Take little time for yourself. And for pedagogy, speaking is not the only pedagogy. There are a large number of methods are there. Good schools, they use their own methods. If you want to compete with other schools, if you want to outdo them, if Saint Soldier Group wants to outdo the other schools, it should develop its own pedagogy. It should be different from other pedagogies. All the children, those who come to your school, or those who come to your classes, they should be content that we are in the best environment. And our environment is learning environment. This is possible, isn't it? Is this possible or not? This is possible. I have worked with the school as a HOD in English. And the very first day when I joined the school, I was told that don't lecture the students. Don't continuously speak for 5 minutes in the class. Otherwise, a complaint will be raised against you. I asked, what is the method of teaching? They said that your method of teaching is a Socratic method. So my task was to ask questions. That is why I am in the habit of asking questions to you. I am not content with speaking. I am content with asking you questions. I want to get everything out of your answers. So there in the class, we started asking questions, and questions were not what were given at the end of the lesson. Book was open before them, before the students, and I asked the questions one by one, several questions, 300 or 350 questions in one period's time, without answering anything from myself. Students were able to understand everything. They gave the answer. They gave explanations, they gave the meanings, they gave everything. The whole lesson was clear. So there are the methods. So you should, in 10th class, in 10th class, what happens that you normally give the questions to students to answer. As Deputy CEO with Firozpur, this group of schools, so I went to class and I asked the 10th class teacher to ask the students to frame questions on the lessons, not the answers. The lesson is there before you and you frame at least 100 questions. 5 questions on one paragraph. 10 questions on one paragraph. They framed it themselves. And you know, when you are raising questions, your understanding is better than comprehension. So, teaching has no end. Innovative teachings have no end. There are large number of innovations are there. Every day you can become a new teacher, provided you work at home. You do your homework, not the students. You do your homework properly. You go prepared. You go prepared with your pedagogy. New lesson plan, new activity. And the results will be wonderful. You can make miracles, you can create miracles in the class. You are capable teachers. So capable you are, even you will be surprised on your own capabilities if you go innovative teaching. This is very important. And today, this NEP, this NCF requires innovative teaching. Innovative learning as well as innovative teaching. So the 2 books NCF are there with you. Download it, go through it. If you have any point, any question, any doubt, you please contact me or contact your coordinators. Okay, work together on it. Work together on it. Work together on the problems. You will become better teachers. 30 days, don't waste it. They are very ideal time. Today is the right time. After 30 days, you will emerge as a new teacher. I tell you. A lot of scope is there. So, I think that's enough for you today. If you want to ask anything on NCF, NEP, if you have any question, any doubt, you can ask. I want to give you an open session for your problems. Say another thing, teachers, another thing. Sometimes we parents think that well-structured schools, well-equipped classrooms with computers and multimedia, with movies and animations, we can do wonders. No. No, not at all. If you believe that learning is a change in the behavior, that will happen only if we are doing something, if we allow the students to do something on their own, learning by doing, experience-based, then multimedia will not help you. Multimedia will not help you. They are just, because I went to the classrooms, I have interacted with the children. In our group, we had, one multimedia system, okay, curriculum system. We used multimedia, and my observation was that multimedia.
Thank you, sir. On the behalf of St. Soldier Group of Institution, so it's our honor that you are with us. And for the NEP, we are following mostly from the, if we're seeing the curriculum, we're following it from the last 4 to 5 years. This time our questions are not coming from the books. Because what the NEP is saying that we don't have to give the rotten knowledge. We have to turn our class into the labs. And I think that you all are capable, you are having the capability. The thing is that you have to explore your capabilities. In the exams, when we are giving the English paper, we are not specially mentioning any essay, letter or story. We are saying, for example, I am taking the example of grade 1. In grade 1, we are saying, okay, in the class we are going to teach my mother. In the my mother, you will tell the student that the child has to write at first the name of that person, then her complexion, age, qualification, nature, You will give them the points, and after that, you will ask them, okay, then write on my father, write on my brother, write on my sister, write on your teacher, write on your principal. You are not giving the total knowledge. If the thing is that, okay, my mother, and in the exam there will be essay, my mother, then that will be the no use. Because according to the NEP, the student should implement that knowledge in their life. And my mostly teachers are schools, we are having the language labs, we are having the maths labs, we are having the science labs. A best teacher is that who can use all the resources in the lecture plan. So I hope you all will use, and you will, whatever the knowledge has been given by this respected sir, you are going to implement. Thank you very much. And if anyone want to give the feedback, I like that each school, from the every school, one teacher should give the feedback. So I start from Neanangal. Yes, ma'am, come. And I also thank you to Parmeet sir and ma'am for all the that they have arranged this conference. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. So, hello everyone. This is Nisha Sharma from St. Soldier Neanangal branch. And really feeling proud here that we all are the best teachers. Yippee! We are the best? Yes. We are not the good only, we are the best teacher. That's why we are the member of this particular team here. We are just like family members. And what we have learned today, sir, thank you for this session. That was marvelous, fantastic. We have learned here today that we, the real practitioners in the classroom, we are the magicians. We can do any magic there. We are the person who can change the life of the student by implementing our ideas practically. That is up to us, whether we'll keep that particular knowledge only a bookish knowledge, or to create that particular thing as a magic, as activity, as practical knowledge. This everything is just like a magic. So just like a magician, as our director sir, Mr. Y.P. Kaushal, I want to remember sir also here, he always used to tell one thing, that a teacher is just like a potter. जैसे घड़ा बनता है, तो घड़ा बनते हुए पॉटर एक हाथ घड़े के अंदर रखता है और एक हाथ से बाहर से उस पे थोड़ी थोड़ी चोट लगाता है ताकि घड़े को शेप मिले, और उसे डर भी होता है कि घड़ा टूट ना जाए. सो अगर बच्चे को कोई प्रैक्टिकल एक्टिविटी करने के लिए टीचर ऐसे ही खुला छोड़ दे तो कुछ मतलब उसका डैमेज हो सकता है. सो दैट्स व्हाई टीचर इज देयर इन द क्लासरूम कि घड़े को डैमेज ना मिले बट घड़े को शेप मिले. एंड दैट्स व्हाई वी ऑल आर दोज काइंड ऑफ प्रैक्टिशनर which we have learned today, that we can do the magic, we can do the wonders with practical learning. As NEP की बात करें, अभी we have learned, but NEP मैम ने बिल्कुल सही कहा. रितु मैम, I have learned this particular thing, that from the years when you are under control for that particular NEP policy, lots of changes we have done in our St. Soldier. Our teaching is learning based. Our teaching is activity based. Just हम रिपब्लिक की बात कर रहे हैं, आज रिजल्ट्स भी आ रहे हैं, तो आई थिंक सब अपने अपने मोबाइल्स पे रिजल्ट्स चेक कर ही रहे होंगे. सो रिपब्लिक के लिए हम क्या कहते हैं? गवर्नमेंट ऑफ द पीपल, फॉर द पीपल, बाय द पीपल. नाउ दिस इज द टाइम पीरियड व्हेन टीचिंग of the students, for the students and by the students should be there in the classroom. You should involve students in the teaching pattern. अगर बच्चा खड़ा होकर किसी concept को explain कर दे, इसमें टीचर को छोटा नहीं समझना चाहिए. We should give them the chance that come forward बेटा, explain this particular concept. हो सकता है वो इतना अच्छा एक्सप्लेन कर दे, आपको उसकी क्वालिटी पता चल जाए और अदर बच्चों को कुछ ज़्यादा अच्छा समझ में आ जाए. सो थैंक यू वेरी मच. थैंक यू मैम.
Good afternoon to all of you. I am Preeti from St. Soldier School, Una Road, Hoshiarpur.
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल थैंक यू सो मच सर, आपने जो बताया ना स्किल्ड एंड नॉलेज बेस्ड, इट्स वेरी मतलब इतना अच्छा बताया ना कि सच में स्किल बेस्ड होना चाहिए आजकल। जैसे हम किताबी कीड़े बन गए बच्चे, मेरे पास फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल मैं ऑफर करती हूँ ट्यूशन एट होम, तो मेरे पास बच्चे आते हैं तो बोलते हैं मैम हमें मैम ने ऐसे ही करवाया तो हमने ऐसे ही करना है। मैं उनको बोलती नहीं, अपनी तरफ से आप करो जितना हो सकता है, बट नहीं मैम ने हमें ऐसे कराया। हम स्कूल मतलब जब जाते हैं टेस्ट वगैरह देते हैं तो हमें वो डांटते हैं, नंबर नहीं देते। मैंने बोला क्यों नहीं देते, कहते वो बोले जो हमने करवाया वही करो, मतलब एक बुकिश लैंग्वेज को फॉलो करते हो तो इनोवेशन कैसे, आइडिया कैसे आएगा, क्रिएटिविटी तो आएगी नहीं बिल्कुल भी। तो है कुछ स्कूल में नाम नहीं लेना चाहूंगी, बट मेरे अकॉर्डिंग बच्चा जैसे क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग नॉलेज होनी चाहिए, इनोवेशन आइडिया, जब तक वो उनको बोलेंगे नहीं कि आप ऐसा करो तो तब तक वो नहीं करेंगे, वो किताबी कीड़े ही बन के रह जाएंगे, है ना। तो थैंक यू सो मच इस सेमिनार के लिए, बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिला हमें। एजुकेशन रिफॉर्म्स है, कुछ चेंजेस होने चाहिए, जैसे आपने अभी बोला कि पाइथागोरस थ्योरम वगैरह है ना, तो मेरे को लगता है उसका यूज है नहीं। चलो ठीक है क्रिटिकल बेस्ड है, बट मेरे को नहीं लगता साइन कॉज ऐसे कुछ है इसका यूज हमारी प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ में। सो थैंक यू सो मच।
Hi, good afternoon everyone. I'm Sarika Agarwal from St. Soja Elite Jalandhar Vihar. So thank you sir for a very knowledgeable session, and thank you ma'am. I think this is my first session and I just love that how he explained everything, that how we should deal with the students first of all, and that is the most important for every teacher. We should understand the critical thinking, the collaboration. This is not only for children, I guess, this is also for us. We have to understand that how we should work with our children. So that is really important. And thank you so much. I am sure that after holidays it will change everything.
Staff members are there, so you will see there is a feedback form in your envelope. All teachers will fill this form and they will submit. Kindly mention your school name. And one thing is there, in the evenings you will submit the report to your principals and you will ask them that they will give the feedback to the vice chairperson ma'am for in their principals group. Thank you very much.
मैम नमस्कार।
नमस्कार
मैम
जी।
क्या नाम है आपका?
माय नेम इज प्रभजोत कौर।
ओके मैम, कौन सी स्कूल से हो?
आई एम फ्रॉम सेंट सोल्जर एलीट स्कूल।
ओके मैम, कैसा था आज का सेशन?
दिस इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग एंड इंस्पायरिंग वर्कशॉप फॉर मी।
ओके थैंक यू। जी मैम। मैम आपका नाम?
My name is Shikha Jain. I'm from the elite school. So this is a very great and enjoyable experience for me. And this is for first time for me. And I've learned so many things from the sir. And I think we will implement all the things on for the future.
थैंक यू। जी मैम।
Hello, my name is Gurpreet. It was great and knowledgeable workshop. Thank you.
आई थिंक ऐसे सेशंस और भी बहुत होने चाहिए बिकॉज ये टीचर्स के लिए भी बहुत ज़्यादा इफेक्टिव है एंड आई थिंक इट विल हेल्प देम कि आगे फ्यूचर बच्चों का जो फ्यूचर है वो कैसे बने, तो इसमें बहुत हेल्प करेगा ये चीज़।
वैसे जो आज का सेशन था वो था किस चीज़ पर?
ये बेसिकली जो सेशन था इट वाज कि हमारी जो टीचर ट्रेनिंग वर्कशॉप है, कैसे हमको बच्चों को हैंड एक्टिविटी मेथड्स है, एक्सपेरिमेंट मेथड्स है, इन सारी चीज़ों को बच्चों को क्लासरूम में कैसे हमें टीच करना है।
बच्चों को बुक वाम ना बना के एक्टिविटी बेस पे स्टडी करवाना, ताकि वो बुक वाम ना बने, वो क्वेश्चंस रट्टाफिकेशन ना हो उनकी, वो एक नॉलेज लें ताकि एक्टिविटी से उनको पता चले कि हमने स्टडी कैसे करना, उसको ग्रैप कैसे करना और उसको कैसे समझना है।
जी
हाँ जी।
Actually, this is all regarding our NEP. NEP, which is a new policy that belongs to that help us to that how the oriented and the future-based education is different from.
जी। आज के समय में हर बच्चा रट्टा तो लगाता है लेकिन वो थोड़े समय में भूल जाता है। अक्सर पहले हमारे माँ बाप हमें ये कहा करते थे कि सुबह 4 बजे उठो और अपने सिलेबस को स्टडी करो, उसको पढ़ो, उसको ज़ोर ज़ोर से बोलो ताकि आपको हर चीज़ अच्छे से सिलेबस याद हो जाए। हर चीज़ आज के समय में है लेकिन आपको पढ़ाई करनी है, चाहे जो मर्जी हो जाए, जितने मर्जी आप सेशन लीजिए, लेकिन सेशन के द्वारा अगर आपने कुछ सीखा नहीं है तो आई थिंक सेशन का कोई मतलब नहीं है। सेशन में आइए, अच्छे से सिलेबस कीजिए, पढ़िए और अपने स्कूल का नाम रोशन कीजिए। सेंट सोल्जर टाइम से कोमल, कैमरामैन अनुराग के साथ।